So this is why women, especially young women, are so damn weird today, right? You approach them, and I wrote this down. I wrote this down because it's late tonight, and I just had it all like come together. So I wrote this down, and I'm gonna read this to you guys about what younger women are doing out there, women that have grown up in the social media age, and why they're just so power hungry and like control freaks, and like you can't really interact with them. It's like when you try to interact with them, it's just like there's just power games from the jump, right? Like you just get like this weird energy, weird vibe from them. And this is why. So women have these like digital worlds. All these younger women are living in these digital worlds, bro. They got Snapchat, they got Instagram, they got Facebook, they got Tinder, they got Bumble, they got this, they got that, they got TikTok, they got everything, right? And they have more than any woman in history by far. These women have more access to men than anybody. And what they can do is they can create this profile that puts them in the best light, take all the best pictures in the best light at the best angles. They're making it and say all like the nice little cute things because they can think about it forever. They're putting together this fake profile of this like imaginary perfect woman that they can sell to these guys, basically farm attention from these guys, validation. These dudes are just hitting them up in their inbox like left and right, like, you know, trying to get something with them, or just the fact that they're even hitting them up. Hey, how are you? Hey, you're cute. Hey, I'd like to see some pay. Like, it's just constant validation. It's just attention farming, right? And women can engage these men, look at their profiles, engage them, all this stuff. They're just constantly doing this when they're on their phone, right? All these women that are like half good looking, even some that aren't really, they're all doing this. And this is why when you get them in person, they are so weird. Okay. Digital worlds. This is the thing about digital worlds versus the real world. Digital world, where if a man says something to you, you can't just leave him. Or no, this is the real world, right? In the real world, when the stakes are real, that's where if a man says something to you, you can't just leave him on red and not have to deal with him for an hour or a day or a week or a month. You can't just walk away, right? In person, you can't just walk away as if that would be like the red or like ghost, right? Just didn't text back. The no response. That would be akin to just like a guy asks you a question, and you just leave. Like the dude's gonna think you're weird. He's gonna be like, okay, like what? Like he's gonna lose interest. You can't just walk away. You have to engage or risk being weird and losing his interest. You have to answer tough questions, right? You're gonna have to answer tough questions. You have to be interesting, pleasant, maybe funny. Your energy has to be good, right? It's real time. Everything's happening in real time in reality. It's all real time with real consequences too. You have to, like, are you real or not? You put up this whole fake profile, but now the time comes. What do you have? Who are you? What are you about? What can you bring to the table, right? This digital wall that these younger women are operating most of their time behind allows them to think for long periods of time about what to say, and gives them time to make any decisions that they would make regarding this dude. The man can't see you live. He can't look at you live, right? He can't hear you. He can't read your body language or pick up on how you say things or mannerisms. He just sees cute pictures taken at the right angle and the right lighting. It's a make-believe fantasy world of control for these women. That's what it is. They display all the best parts of them and none of the bad. That's key. It displays all the best parts of them and none of the bad. It's a world where they play God, and they can have a man view them in the best possible light. They can control men in this way. They can control the dynamic between them and a man. For the first time ever in the history of the species, a woman can finally she's in an environment. She's created this digital environment where she finally feels like she has control, the upper hand over the man. Whereas in the real world, women don't feel like that. They don't feel like that, and they know that. They know they don't have the control in the real world, right? They can control men in this way. They control his perception of her. Everything operates at their pace. They answer the questions they want to and don't answer the questions they don't. They leave when they want to and they stay when they want to. They don't have to be a real person. They don't have to be a real person. They can be a fantasy, and women love being the best versions of themselves, right? They just think that, women's egos are huge, right? They cannot, especially attractive women, they cannot stand any bash to it, any crack to it, right? Freaking, all right. Okay, here we go. So they don't have to be a real person. They could be a fantasy, and women love being the best versions of themselves. They don't want it to get real. They don't want it to be high stakes. Actual reality where everything happens is out of their control. That base reality is completely out of their control. It's real time. They have to perform, right? It's not at their speed. They can't stop the conversation. They can't think about their response forever. Because of this, they could say something that they don't mean, or say the wrong thing, or say something stupid. Say something silly, right? They can make a face that puts them in a bad light in the man's eyes, right? They could express an emotion that they don't want to. It's all real time. They're emotional beings. They could just be emotional, right? And express something, some weakness about themselves, get emotional. That gives a man power, right? They could have a low, bad energy that the man doesn't like. They could be boring, or they could talk too much. In other words, they could just be exposed. They could show the person that they really are. They could show oh my gosh, God forbid you show the person that you really are. Oh. The person that they really are behind their digital fantasies, right? Behind that digital fantasy that you see, where she controls everything, the pace of everything, what to say, what not to say, what to answer, what not to answer, when she's there, when she's not, what you see, all that's completely out the window. That is all make-believe. That's all nothing in the real world. And when a man sees who they really are, this is the key. If a man sees who they really are, they are terrified of being rejected, especially if it's a man that they're interested in or that they like. And losing his interest, say he talks to another female, it'd feel like death. It's like death to a woman like that, to these younger women. She wouldn't be able to stomach it, as she's used to a ton of digital men giving her validation and approval, never being rejected by any of the men that she is controlling the narrative, controlling the situation, controlling the environment with the pace of everything, what she says, how she looks. Of course, when you can control everything, you're going to seem way better than you really are, because you can control everything. You control the time, the speed, what you say, your reactions. Like, everything is just slowed down because they're behind the digital wall. It's all fake. It's all make-believe. It's not real time. It's not real stakes. It's not real reality where things have consequences. I'm telling you. That's it. I just wanted to get that out before I go to bed, because this is nuts. It's nuts what younger women, the worlds that they live in today, man. They're living in imaginary digital worlds. And they cannot talk to real men anymore. They cannot interact in a real way anymore. You know it when you get around them. And this is to all you younger women out there. Stop. Get off that stuff. Stop doing that. It's just making you weird in person. Along with other things that you're doing, which I will go over in other videos, but stop doing that. For the love of God. For the love of God. Stop. It's just detrimental to you. It's literally not, it's not even for me. It's not even for men, which it is for men, but it's for you. It's for you. You're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting yourself in the long term the more you do this. You're only hurting yourself because you've built up this huge fantasy world that doesn't exist. And of course, when you get out into the real world, because you've never actually built anything up really, you never actually don't have a lot of experience interacting with men really, doing things, creating value within yourself, real value, you know, you've just been able to run from everything and just, get approval here and not do this here because that seems like there might be some rejection here and from this man on this platform or whatever. So I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I'll just stay in my little world where everybody loves me and I'm just perfect. You have to stop. It's just brain rot. You're just rotting your brain. You have to engage with reality. You have to. That's the only way you'll have a real connection with a man. That's the only way you'll ever get the man that you really want. A healthy, good relationship. That's the only way you'll be able to talk with men in a healthy way, see men in a healthy way, a good way. The same goes for men. Men have to stop, their own things, which I've made videos on. But for women, this is huge. Get out of your digital prisms. Your prison. It's like a prison, really. You're playing God in there, but you're really just cheating yourself. You're just putting yourself in a prison, All right. That's it. That's the video.